I thought I'd shoot a quick video on what most Canadians don't know about retirement. And I'm on vacation here. As you can see, it's a bit of a different background this week. Now, I could do a video today on 1,000 different things and run this thing for hours, but 6 things that have come through our office here in the last 3 weeks that keep repeating themselves. So I want to hopefully help a lot of you today in learning a bit about what to do next with these things. So the first thing that comes up all the time is lira. So when you convert your lira to a LIF and roll over some of that to an RSP, you do not need our RSP room. That's not a requirement. So if you, let's say, have a $100,000 lira, you're rolling it and unlocking it to an RSP or a RIF, you don't need any contribution room to make that happen. The second tip for you today is about OAS and CPP. Now, we talk a lot about this on the channel, obviously, and OAS will automatically start at age 65 unless you request for it not to start. So if you don't want your OAS at 65, you got to make sure you let Service Canada know that you don't need it. CPP, on the other hand, does not start automatically. You can start it earlier at 60, all the way up to 70, but you have to let Service Canada know when you want that money. The third tip for today is your RIF and LIF. Now, when you convert your RSP to a RIF or your lira to a LIF, it will be asked, what do you want to base the amount on? Whose age? Your age or a spouse or common law partner's age? And so if you have a spouse or common law partner at a younger age, you can base your payment off of their age, which means that you're going to be required to take a little bit less out of the account every year. Now, to me, typically we want to take the most amount out, so this doesn't really matter. But for some of you, some tax planning and whatnot, it may be a solution to some of your tax issues that you're running into as you hit retirement and are required to take money out of these accounts. The fourth tip here is income splitting. And when you hit 65, you can income split your RSP if you convert it to your RIF, a LIF, your defined benefit pension plan. There's a bunch of different pensionable incomes, and we'll link a video above on that. We've done many videos on income splitting, but remember, at 65, you can start splitting some of your income, your pensionable income. Pre-65, very limited. If you have a defined benefit plan, you can split that. Some annuities you can split, but typically once you get to 65, make sure you understand if you have any income that you can possibly split. A lot of you maybe are working past 65, you have an RSP, and you're not converting it to RIF and maybe drawing some to split that income. There's definitely some tax planning strategies that you need to be looking at to maximize your tax savings here. The fifth tip, and I talk about this all the time to people, is when you convert your RSP to a RIF, you don't have to convert the full amount. You can just do part of the amount. So let's say you want to take advantage of the pension income tax credit. And at 65, you could set up a RIF, roll $2,000 from your RSP to a RIF, and then pull that out. It does not have to be the whole thing until the year you turn 71. The sixth and final tip for today, and before I jump into it, I just want to say there's a lot of issues that people are running into in retirement. I see different issues day after day, so we'll do more of these videos and give more tips. But make sure, if you have questions about your retirement, about how to plan stuff, put stuff together, all of that, make sure you're talking to your financial advisor. You need to make sure you have a proper plan put together. If you don't have that, you're walking blindly into retirement. And maybe you're hitting your 60, 65, and you're not ready to retire, but you also don't know what retirement looks like. You need to make sure you start getting a plan in place to get that retirement together. So if you need help with that, reach out to our office. We'd be happy to help out, get a retirement plan put together for you. So the sixth and final tip I have for you today is that you can have more than one RSP, and in retirement, more than one RIF account. So let's say you have 3 different RIF accounts. So you've had different accounts over time, and you just kept it like they are as you hit retirement. Now, when you retire, let's say you keep all 3 accounts. So let's say you have $100,000 in 3 different RIF accounts, so $300,000 total. When you hit age to pull out of the RIF, you're going to be required to take at least the minimum out of each account. So if you have $100,000 in 3 accounts and your RIF minimum for the year combined is $15,000, let's say, you have to take $5,000 out of each RIF account. You can't take $15,000 out of one and leave the other 2. So the minimum and the maximum, if you're in a LIF, are based per individual account. So make sure you understand that as well. It's very important to know that you're going to have to pull money out of each RIF account, and in return, you're going to get a tax slip from each carrier, which is kind of annoying as well. That's why typically I say when you get close to retirement or in retirement, you want to start consolidating your accounts so that you don't run into these issues. I personally would not want 10, 20, 30 tax slips when I hit retirement. I want to consolidate that, get as few tax slips, simplify your world in retirement. It's going to make a huge difference. So thanks for joining us from Kelowna today, not too smoky this morning, nice and early here. But appreciate you joining us on a family vacation. I'll be back in the studio next week.